There's a new street fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Toys are great. Let's talk video games. Oh my giddy lord, I was just about to go to bed. I was going to get a nice early night and have sweet dreams and wake up refreshed. And then Insomniac goes and drops not one but two trailers on us. And normally I'd think, you know what, I could just save this for the good news episode coming up. But this is just too much. This is too big. I'm too excited. Not only do we get a teaser trailer for the new Spider-Man Insomniac game, Spider-Man 2. We had Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I haven't played yet because I want to get a PS5 and play it properly. But I can neither afford one nor actually find one that exists because we still live in a day and age with microchip shortages where, whew, they're pushing us right now. But we do have a trailer for the new Spider-Man, which is not going to come out till 2023. You know that episode of What If with Doctor Strange where he's just going to insanely evil, bizarre lengths to steal magic from other creatures so that he can become the most powerful sorcerer in the world? That's what I want to do. To skip forward to 2023 so I can play this game. And I would willingly become the giant mutant evil looking creature that he turns into. Although actually, ironically, I wouldn't be able to play with the PS5 controller because I'd have big monster hands. Wow, that is a monkey's paw wish right there. Sweet irony. But the game looks exciting. We've only got, I was about to say FMV. Wow, that dates me, doesn't it? We only have an FMV cutscene. Jeez. Kids watching this, ask your parents what FMV is, alright? No, we have a CGI cutscene, which of course we do. It's a video game. They don't use actors anymore. That went out in the 90s. But we have a cutscene intro to get us hype, basically, to get us hype for Spider-Man. We see Spidey doing his thing, and we hear this voice. We hear this voice talking about how he is looking for someone to challenge him, someone who can test him, maybe defeat him. And of course, we're seeing Spider-Man just whopping ass throughout New York City. And as we do, we also see him doing co-op tandem moves with Miles Morales. So yes, I think that's pretty much a subtle little raisy eyebrows that we're going to have two-player co-op gameplay. And if that is the case, then I'm very excited. Now, I haven't actually played Miles Morales, as I mentioned, so I'm assuming we don't have co-op gameplay at the moment. That wasn't something available on the PS4 Spider-Man, was it? This is a new thing. And this is me just assuming that is the case. I mean, they wouldn't show two Spider-Men doing tandem Spider-Man moves unless it was going to be a thing, surely. Don't call me surely. That's what's going to happen in this game. So if we can have two-player co-op, that will be fantastic. It's like a three-dimensional superhero Streets of Rage. So exciting. So, of course, the villainous voice that we hear about, being challenged and maybe someone can defeat him, it's Kraven. That much goes without saying. As you could tell from my perfect Russian accent that I was just busting out there. I am looking for someone to challenge me. That's better. That's a bit more Eastern European, but we're getting there slowly. Of course, as the camera pans into this dark alley, where we're like, oh, okay, come on, let me see what Kraven looks like. Because, of course, you want to see what the Insomniac version of the character looks like. And it's panning in and it's getting closer, and then you hear, "We will challenge you," or something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly. I'll be playing it back as I'm talking.
Yes, we will.
But basically, you know that voice. In fact, I think we kind of get a hint of what they say, and then they use the term "we," and it's like, oh! You know that if you were in like Comic-Con or a big auditorium and you heard that voice, that slightly echoey alien voice that was established by the 1994 animated Spider-Man, you would know that that is the voice of Venom, and then they give it to us. We just get a wow, and just for a second, and we see what might actually be a cooler looking Venom than we actually have in the Tom Hardy movies. This Venom, for a brief split second, looked the tits. It looked like just the bright white eyes and the drool, and he looked like a mean looking Venom. And the question is, what are we gonna do with this? Because we got the hint of Venom at the end of the last game. Spoiler alert for a game from about 4 years ago. I spat on myself slightly. We get a hint of Venom. Harry Osborn. They've been talking about Harry Osborn, that he's gone away somewhere. They don't know where he's gone away. And then it turns out that Norman Osborn is trying to cure him of some disease. So he has him in a Star Wars style Bacta tank. And as he goes to look at him, something in the tank goes like up against the glass. So clearly he is in the tank with the symbiote. Did he get infected with the symbiote and they're trying to get it off of him? Are they using the symbiote to try and cure him? Did the symbiote fall from the stars, or was it made in a lab? I hope it's the latter, because no, I hope it's the former. I always get those wrong. I hope that the symbiote came from the stars, because now in the comics there's so much mythology tied up with the symbiotes being an alien race. In Ultimate Spider-Man and a few other pieces of media, the symbiote is created in a lab, and it's like, that's just not as interesting, you know? So hopefully it is the classic Venom symbiote, but that's also kind of a shame. Speaking of classic, I assume that will be Harry Osborn inside the symbiote, and that's like, I'm an Eddie Brock guy, I'm a traditionalist, I'm a meat and potatoes, firm handshake, how's your father, I like my coffee hot and my Venom's Brock, and that's just how I am, you know? I'm a traditionalist. So if it's Harry Osborn in there, it's kind of a shame. If they don't have Peter wear the symbiote at all, if they kind of bypass that whole angle, that's also kind of a shame. I know it's sort of a cliche, it's kind of a trope that's been done a million times where, oh, Peter gets the symbiote, but he doesn't know it's making him evil. But not every generation has seen that. If people who read the comics in the 90s then rolled their eyes when the 1994 cartoon told that story, then I would have never got that experience. So I want to see Peter slowly get corrupted by the symbiote without knowing it. But hey, maybe they'll go that route, maybe they won't. What I do know is I am hyped for this game. I want to see what Kraven looks like, even though I'm getting the feeling he might end up being jobbed out halfway through the game by Venom. Kind of like what they did with Mr. Negative. Not that Mr. Negative was jobbed out. He was a serious threat the whole way through, but you deal with Mr. Negative for the first half of the game, and then it becomes the Sinister Six. And I kind of like that. So I can see you battling Kraven at the start, and then Venom comes in and all bets are off. So that is exciting. If you get to choose between playing Peter or Miles, then again, it's such a narrative game. They probably won't give you the choice as to which character you play as, but maybe it'll swap between them just like the first one did, depending on the circumstances and situation. So that looks really cool. Very hyped about that. Now then, I was about to go on to other things about the game, like what am I predicting, what do I want to see, what do I not want to see, but maybe for another video. The next trailer we have, hoo-ha! Wolverine. And this is another one that all we can do is speculate and have fun, but there's a lot to have fun and speculate about. I mean, we just get a really great cutscene of Wolverine sat at a bar, cowboy hat on his head, nursing a drink. There's carnage all around him. Clearly, he has just been wrecking fools left and right. If you think about the context, he's probably just murdered a lot of people. It's not cool. Unless he like retracted his claws at the last moment. But either way, he's just nursing a beer and some schmuck comes up to him, flicking a knife, ready to just, you know, hit him from behind. And then we see the schnicked, the claws come out, Wolverine. Now, Wolverine has obviously had a ton of games made about him over the past. Some have been good, some have been terrible, and some have been all points in between. Of course, everyone relates back to, I think it's the Wolverine Origins game, which is just bizarrely good. They took a terrible film and they got the license and just went ham on making an amazing Wolverine game. And yeah, of course, times change, it doesn't really hold up that great, but it's still a fun hack and slash God of War style brawler. And they have the cool mechanics where when he takes damage, he gets all the flesh ripped off of him and then it starts to grow back. Really, really cool. So we don't even have a release window for that, not even a year. So goodness only knows. But this takes me back to the 2014s, 2013s, when we first got a preview trailer of Insomniac Spider-Man. I think it must have been 2015, actually. I think we first heard about that. And it was like, oh yes, it's coming years and years and years from now. And it felt like it was a million miles away. But you know what? We eventually got there. And now we're several years removed. Man! Thank goodness I spend my time so wisely. But guys, that was just what I wanted to talk about. Two really, really exciting video game trailers. I am so hyped for this, so very stoked. What do you think? I know we have a long time to wait, but I want to hear, have you played the Spider-Man game? Do you enjoy Insomniac games? What are you hoping to see in either one of these new Marvel games? What a time to be alive. Folks, comment below, let me know if you like what you see here and you want to see more. Then join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step further, you can go over to patreon.com/displayingmodelbehavior. Throw a few shekels my way, helps keep the lights on. So until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Chill. Yeah.
Cup of coffee. Big time coffee.